Even though Samsung isn't the first company to present foldable phones to the world, that honor actually falls to Royale, who presented that tech in 2018. It is no question that Samsung is still the king of foldables, even though we do have challengers in that space from Huawei, Honor, Google, and Oppo. Samsung still is clearly the #1 maker of foldable phones on a worldwide scale. Those other companies that I just mentioned, they do have nice phones. They also have had nice reviews, and a lot of people who use their products love their phones more so than they do some of the stuff from Samsung. And I think that is also prompting Samsung to make some changes here. As you see here, this is an article that actually was out over a week ago, but now I want to circle back around to it because we got a couple of additional information from some other outlets as well. Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Z Fold 6 allegedly adopting bigger outer displays. Also, to add on to that, we're going to cover the Z Fold 6 could finally bring improvements that users have been demanding. We're talking about the aspect ratios. But before we jump into the details of that, if you are new to this channel and enjoy this type of content, please do me a huge favor. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit that like button as well. All right, let's dive into these articles real quick. Again, Galaxy's the Z Flip 6 and Z Fold allegedly adopting bigger outer displays. This article was out of 9to5 Google. Again, this was back in the end of November, but I want to circle back to it. The Galaxy Z Fold series have always favored a thinner front display, which results in an inner display with an ideal aspect ratio. Recent reports indicate that the Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 will feature a bigger outer display over the last generation, which is something that that is welcoming in terms of a bigger display. A lot of people do not like the outer display of the Z Fold. It is kind of thin and narrow, more like a candy bar as compared to some of the other offers out there from Oppo, even Google and Huawei. So it looks like Samsung may be considering making that change. In its current form, Samsung's latest book-style foldable has a front cover display that reaches 6.2 inches, and it comes in an aspect ratio of 23.1:9, which is a bit extreme. Yeah, if you not use the device, it is a little bit extreme. I don't use my front display all that often. I open it up and rather use that display. So hopefully with these new changes, they will make the front display a little more usable. A recent report from the analyst Ross Young claimed that both the Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 will house larger outer displays over their respective previous generations. The details of the Flip 6 are specific, with the outer display reportedly expected to sit around 3.9 inches. As for the Z Fold 6, there are no specifics to lay down, just a vague statement regarding a larger cover display. Let's flip over to this article here. This is one that just popped up. Z Fold 6 could finally bring improvements that users have been demanding. This is out of Sam Mobile. Let's go over this. Samsung foldable phones are among the most reliable and consistent devices in the segment. However, that doesn't mean that they have the best specifications or performance. Some people, including those at Sam Mobile, also dislike the narrow cover screen on the Z Fold, which I just talked about, series phones that have been requesting Samsung for years to make the cover screen a bit wider. And it looks like Samsung will finally bring that change with the Z Fold 6. The Z Fold 6 could have a different aspect ratio for the cover screen. It is rumored that Samsung will change the aspect ratio of the cover screen and the inner screen with the Z Fold 6. The device is reportedly codenamed Q6 and has a different aspect ratio for the screen. While Samsung tested several concepts, it seems the company has moved forward with a design that has a screen aspect ratio different than that from the Z Fold 5. However, the report doesn't confirm what the aspect ratio is, whether the aspect ratio is wider than the Z Fold 5. Yeah, so it looks like Samsung is definitely moving forward with that, which is a welcome change. Again, if you looked at some of the recent entries, the Oppo, the OnePlus Open, Google's the Pixel Fold, they all have a better ratio. It looks more like a book, and even the front cover screen looks more like a cell phone. It's a little shorter and a little bit wider, but actually leads you to use that front screen a lot more compared to what we have from the Z Fold series. And Samsung has been I would say kind of slacking in that regard with the Z Folds. They haven't done much change, especially if you look at the Z Fold 4 to the Z Fold 5. the changes are very minimal, very minimal. Pretty much all the hardware is the same except the newer Snapdragon. They overdid the hinge or the hinge a little bit to make it a little bit more durable. But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. The camera and the rest of the hardware is pretty much the same. So if they're making this change here, that is pretty good and something that I would definitely welcome. Apparently, the design of the Z Fold 6 is in line with that of the Galaxy S25 series. Moreover, more like Chinese foldable phones. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 reportedly has a lighter design than its predecessors while reducing the crease of the foldable screen, which is good because the screen crease from the Fortune 5 pretty much stayed the same in my opinion. With Galaxy Z Fold 5, Samsung already introduced a hinge that leaves no gap between the two halves of the phone when it's closed. Yeah, so that was a very welcome change. When you fold the phone closed, there actually is just pretty much solid like this, as opposed to before you would get something like this, but now it's more like that. Samsung just needs to make the phone thinner and lighter and introduce a wider cover screen. The Galaxy Z Flip 6 is rumored to feature thinner bezels and a bigger cover screen compared to the Z Flip 5. Sorry, it's hard saying those words together. The Galaxy Z Flip 6 and the Z Fold 6 will likely be launched 7 months from now and feature the Snapdragon Gen 3 processor, which is extremely powerful and quite efficient. Yeah, so those are definitely welcome changes. The Z Flip 5 did improve its cover screen, which is a welcome change. It still wasn't as big as, say, the Motorola Razr Flip was. It actually covered the whole front cover, which which is a good move by them. Samsung had theirs almost, but then they had to cut out for the camera. But let's talk about why Samsung is making this change, which again is very welcome. But the real crux of this is that Samsung is starting to feel the heat in terms of market share. Let's flip over this. Samsung foldables continue to dominate, but other Android OEMs are eating away at its share. Yes, again, Samsung has been dominant, but in recent years, they're starting to chip away. Let's take a look at this. What you need to know, foldable phones reached record shipments in Q3 of 2023, according to the display supply chain consultants. Samsung held the majority share, with the top-selling foldable being the Z Flip and the Z Fold 5. Samsung shares expected to fall significantly as Android OEMs such as Huawei and Honor gain market share. And let's take a look at this right here. This is why Samsung is making this change. They're starting to feel the heat from the other manufacturers, and that is a good thing. In the first year here, Samsung was about 70%. They dipped a little bit once Huawei entered the marketplace, but then they shot back up to its highest ever with about what, 82, 83, 84% of the market share. Dominant, king of the hill. That runs over 80% still continue, and then they started to drop off as more players started to enter the market here. Then they had a big revival here at the beginning, and now look at where they are as of Q4 2023. They are just over 40%. So this is the real reason why Samsung is finally making those changes. Because as I said earlier, Samsung has gotten lazy with their foldables over the last three models. There have been incremental improvements, not major overhaul changes. And other manufacturers out there like Oppo and Huawei, Motorola, Honor, Google have done a lot more with their phones. They're introducing a lot more better tech. Again, aspect ratios are more usable and better. So I think Samsung is starting to feel the hinge. Him in the pockets, that's where they start to make changes. And as you can see here, their dominance, again, they're still number one, but their dominance is not like it was in the past. So now they feeling that fire up under their butt. So now they're going to start making some changes, which is good, and it is very welcome because, again, Samsung has been lazy with their phones recently, and they need to do a better job. They need to be more creative, be more innovative like they used to be. I think they're resting on their laurels because they're pretty much the number one Android maker, so they think that they can just cease and just continue to make little bit improvements. No, they need to get back to the roots. They need to start making more innovative products and improve it, in which they're starting with the Z Fold and the Z Flip 6. I'm glad to see that. So we'll see what happens when it comes to the market. I hope they don't back out of it and say ship it to the 7. I think if they do that, I think they will hit a bigger dip. Instead of being at above 40%, I think that will drop them down to probably the mid 30s if they decide to skip and go to, or they don't make the change with the 6 and just push us off to the 7. But Samsung needs to get back there, and I'm glad that there's more competition out there to help Samsung get that. But I am so happy for that. Once again, thank you for taking time out to watch this video. Let me know down in the comment sections what you think Samsung is going to do. Have you used some of the other phones? Have you used like the OnePlus Open? Have you used Oppo? Have you used, the Google Pixel Fold? Do you like those phones better than you like the Z Fold series from Samsung? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you for taking time out to watch this video. If you enjoy this type of content, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And chances are, if you enjoyed this video, somebody in your family or your friends may like this video. So make sure you share this video with them as well. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest tech news, head over to soundstorage.com, where I curate and aggregate tech news from around the web covering Apple, Samsung, Android, computing, and even more tech news, all at the website soundstorage.com. So make sure you head over there. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.